All right, so last night we had our AC unit start doing something called short cycling. That's when it kicks on, doesn't stay on, sometimes just a matter of seconds, sometimes minutes. But something's shutting it off, either, plenum sensors or something on the control board is putting it into short cycle. And then you go into like a delay period, and if you kind of know your way around one of these control boards, I mean, forget that it's HVAC for a minute, it's just a simple control board. Beneath that green blinking light, you can hit the TDO reset and kill your delay, but that's pretty harsh on your condenser, the unit outside. So you have your condenser outside, which is the first thing I looked at. Coils are clean, temperature difference doesn't seem to be too bad between the outside air and the air coming up. Behind this panel has a leak right there, air leak that's getting condensation. Behind there is another choke point in the system. That is your evaporator coil. You can get a coil comb, coil brush, and some condenser cleaner and clean it yourself. Save yourself about $500 to $1,000. That wasn't my problem. Believe it or not, this well put together filthy unit here, it's not my first problem. I had one of these go out on me recently. This is a zone damper. This is what directs your zone control. So if you've got your fan on and you need air in zone 1, this guy opens and the others close. Anyway, so I figured look there first. And no, the one I replaced isn't going. Actually, none of these zone damper actuator motors are bad. They're all working perfectly fine. The problem is up here on the control board. You see, this light means it's telling the zone 3, which is, which zone is that? Whichever zone it is. This is my back room, office room with a computer, and it's telling that zone to stay closed. It doesn't need to cool. These other two zones are off, right? So that means the actuator motor does not need to close the door. They're normally open damper door. But if you notice, I have one wire disconnected, okay? This is AC to 24 volt AC motor on zone 1, which is my downstairs, and that was causing my short cycling. That damper door wouldn't open, and the zones upstairs were already cooled, so the plenum sensor after a certain amount of time was timing out the system, and then that throws in the short cycle delay. You need to run your AC unit for a minimum duty cycle, right? And to achieve that, if your system has to shut down for any reason within that minimum duty cycle, you have to wait about a half hour. It sucks. So for now, I've disabled that zone damper and everything's working just fine. So, Mr. Engineering Adjacent, how do we fix this? That solution isn't too difficult. Takes a little bit of basic soldering, some time and patience, and good wire label. To fix this for reals, I'm gonna have to take all these wires out, make sure they all go back in the same place. I have to remove this screw, and somewhere over here there's another screw. Take this board down to the solder station, desolder this relay. So these are the zone control relays. And I'll bet you, if I look at this board, what I won't see on any of those relays is something called a flyback diode. A flyback diode is something that you put in between the contacts on a relay like that. It prevents carbon buildup, it prevents a lot of arcing, and it really prolongs the life of the contactor. I've had to desolder and resolder those onto similar control boards on little mini fridges and stuff like that. They go bad all the time, and I never see on these boards the extra 2-cent diode that could have got a lot more life out of my relay. It's cheap ass electronics, man.